Thank you.
Love makes the world go round. Snap, what a happy sound. Snap is the happiest sound I found. Snap makes the world go round. Snap makes the world go round. Well, I say it's Crackle, the crispy sound. You gotta have Crackle or the clock's not wound. Crackle makes the world go round. The line says that pops the sound. The best is missing as pops around. Pop makes the world go round. Pop makes the world go round. Pop makes the world go round.
And now, introducing your host with the most, Mr. Greg along with Rick Brusuelas and Dennis Michelson. Now, let's get to the show.
Hey, welcome to Snap, Crackle, and Pop, your show designed to help you win each week. And I want to remind everybody that this week is special. It's Thanksgiving Day weekend, so we're moving our Thursday check down to Wednesday night. It'll be tomorrow night, same bat time, same bat channel. And I got to tell you one other thing. I got bumped from the Scott Fish Bowl extravaganza playoffs this week. Bad news for that, but the sports affiliation is still well represented with at least 4 teams advancing in the playoffs, including JC, who's in the top 100, and our good friend Tip Major is also going, and Joe Carlton, who has filled in for me when I was on vacation. So it's just a wonderful time. But with that, we're going to turn it over to Snap for the day's news.
Hey everyone, and unfortunately I was also bumped out of the Scott Fish Bowl, so we'll just move right on. First of all, we mentioned Thanksgiving. Well, also there are no byes this week, so I think the important thing to be aware of though is that there's 3 games on Thanksgiving Day: Green Bay, Detroit, Kansas City, Dallas, Cincinnati, Baltimore, and 1 game on Friday, Chicago and Philadelphia. So make sure to keep an eye on your rosters and make sure you're getting the players in there when you need to. Before I get to the injuries, I'll talk about the one firing that just happened. Chip Kelly, Los Angeles Raiders offensive coordinator, was fired. He was the highest paid coordinator, and unfortunately, the Raiders have scored 16 or fewer points in 4 of their last 5 games, and all of them ended in losses. So in fact, if you look at entering Sunday's game, they've ranked 3rd worst in yards per game and points per game. So they replaced them with former tight end and also former assistant Greg Olson. So let's get into the
Unfortunately, sorry to interrupt. I don't think any offensive coordinator is going to win with that offensive line. Just don't think anybody can.
No, it's yeah. So, injuries. Baker Mayfield, Tampa Bay Buccaneer quarterback, injured his left shoulder, a sprained ACL. He had an MRI on Monday. Teddy
AC joint, not ACL. ACL's in the knee.
Oh, sorry. You got it. And it looks like he will still try to start. If he doesn't start, that's a huge downgrade. Ibuka would still be startable, but I tell you, he's actually been struggling. In 5 of the last 6 games, he's had less than 10 points per.
Hey, now you're stealing my thunder now.
Okay, let me go on to the next one. Joe Flacco, Cincinnati Bengal quarterback, dislocated finger on his throwing hand. Impact? Well, he's not going to be playing anyway because Joe Burrow is back and looking to start Thanksgiving against the Patriots. Daniel Jones, he has had a leg injury. He did not leave the game. He's got a big game coming up against the Texans. I'd look at practices, but I'm pretty sure he's playing. And his backup is rookie Riley Leonard.
Burrow's
JJ
playing against the Ravens, right? Not the Patriots. I think Cincinnati plays the Ravens this week.
Okay.
I think.
J.J. McCarthy, the Minnesota Vikings quarterback, he, on the flight home from the game, complained of symptoms, and the team placed him on concussion protocol. He's been a disappointment all season. If he doesn't pass protocol, his backup is undrafted rookie quarterback Max Brosner. If he does sit out the game, it would make 23 of the 29 possible games he's missed in his career due to injury. Brosner is a former Minnesota Gopher. It's a fan favorite, so it'll be interesting to see if that happens. Ashton Genty, the Los Angeles Raiders running back, had an ankle injury, but Pete Carroll doesn't think it's going to be severe. If he isn't playing or if his playing time is reduced, Raheem Mostert, the oldest back in the league, will be the primary backup. Zamir White, who was a starter last season. He'll probably split time with Mostert. I tell you, I probably would be avoiding both of them. Alvin Kamara, the New Orleans Saints running back, has an ankle injury. Devin Neal would be his backup. He actually had 5 catches for 43 yards last game. And also Swiss Army knife Taysom Hill would be the Saints running backs, and both should be waiver targets.
But Devin Neal's the guy you want. He's a third down back. Taysom Hill's 32 years old. He's a tight end that plays wildcat and plays in the goal line situation. So he may steal a touchdown, but Devin Neal's the one you want to get. Get out on your waiver wire and get him now.
Sure. Josh Jacobs, Green Bay Packers running back, had a knee injury the previous week thanks to MetLife Field, and didn't play in Week 12. Emmanuel Wilson was 28 for 107 yards and 2 touchdowns, so he will be, again, the bell cow if Jacobs isn't able to play. They are hoping that Jacobs will be available, though, in the Thanksgiving game in Detroit. It is a short turnaround, though, so we'll see. T. Higgins, the Cincinnati Bengals wide receiver, had a concussion. He's already ruled out. Jamar Chase returns from his 1-game suspension. And then the other choices in Cincinnati would be Andre Iosivas and Mitchell Tinsley.
And Iosivas may be on your waiver wire. He may be somebody you want to grab.
And Mike Gesicki, their tight end, also had a good game last week, and he should also get a bump in his usage. Last major injury, DK Metcalf, Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver, had an ankle injury. He was in and out of the game a couple of times. If he is out, boy, the Steelers receiving group is in trouble. They've got Calvin Austin, Ben Skowronek, Roman Wilson. I would expect more use of their 3 tight ends, Washington Smith and Freiermuth. And with that, I'm going to switch over to Greg to be Crackle.
Well, before you do that, I got a question for you because I know you're going to dash because you're not feeling well. But with Pittsburgh, have you heard anything about the quarterback? Because he's got a broken wrist, I thought.
Yeah, and I think they've announced that he is going to try to play, so that would mean he would be starting over Mason Rudolph.
But Mason Rudolph, keep him in mind because anytime there's an injury like that to a quarterback, defenses target him. They will be going for that left wrist. Trust me on that.
And he could go down on the field, throw his offhand out to brace the fall. He's actually risking further injury by playing. But, again, he knows he has to play. So I'm going to go ahead and give it over to Greg now.
Thank you very much, Snap. I appreciate that. And Crackle does set your clocks, baby. Get out there and set those clocks for Crackle. Hey, I'm going to start off with who I started off with last week. First, I'm going to start off with an apology. I was terrible last week. I think I was 1-4 in my recommendations. But if you look at it, I missed by just a bit on 2 of them. Daniel Jones finished 12th last week, and there were so many subpar performances that he should have been outside the top 12. And Michael Pittman finished 24th, and there were so many subpar wide receiver performances as well. So I'm going back to the well again with Daniel Jones. I don't know if you know this. JJ Zachariason has a great newsletter. You should get on it. It's free. He put out a little tidbit today. The Texans have not allowed a single top 12 quarterback performance this year, all year. And last week, KC showed that Daniel Jones can be slowed down. So finished, like I said, at quarterback 12 and just missed falling outside. And I just think that the Texans are not going to allow a top 12 quarterback this week. So Daniel Jones is my sit for this week. At running back, I'm actually going with running back Chase Brown. Chase Brown has been outstanding. He's been averaging 19.6 PPR points per game over the last 4 weeks, but he's been doing it because his teammate, Samaje Perine, has been out. Samaje Perine is a great receiving back, and he's back this week, baby. He is practicing in full and expected to play against the Ravens. Now, the Ravens have been surprisingly good against running backs on the ground. Not so much on the air, all right? But I don't expect Chase Brown to get a lot of play in the air with Perine back. The last 2 weeks, what the Ravens have done is 16 for 44 yards for Breece Hall and Quinton Judkins, 17 for 59. Neither one got a touchdown. So they did score okay because they got in the passing game. But I just don't, before Perine went down, Chase Brown was not getting used in the passing game, and he's very inefficient. So I don't see Chase Brown having a big week this week. I'm sitting him. At wide receiver, this is what I was chastising my good friend Snap about earlier. I'm sitting wide receiver 12, Emeka Egbuka, against Arizona because, face it, he's a rookie sensation. He's been great. However, he hadn't been in the top 30 in weekly scoring at wide receiver once over the last 6 games. Not once. And now his quarterback is banged up. Baker Mayfield, left shoulder on Sunday Night Football. Even if he plays, I don't think he plays the whole game. Again, when a quarterback is injured, defenses smell blood in the water, and they target him. They will do everything to hit that guy and get his backup in. Teddy Bridgewater, I like the guy, but he's not Baker Mayfield. So, you got that low-grade AC sprain. It's not considered serious, but I think that even if he starts, he doesn't finish the game. So I'm sitting Egbuka this week. Also, you got to remember that they got Godwin back, and Godwin's going to take more and more of the looks. So remember that. At tight end, I'm actually going with the 7th-ranked tight end this week. I'm going to sit Dallas Goedert versus Chicago. Goddard has 19 targets in his last 5 games. 4 targets a game ain't going to get it done. Just not going to get it done. In 4 or 5 games, he has scored less than 8.5 points, and he's scored less than 5 points in 4 of those games. So, yeah, in all 5 games, he scored less than 8.5, but in 4 of them, he scored less than 5. I think Chicago plays pretty good on defense this game, and I'm sitting Dallas. Now, my bonus pick is somebody I should have picked last week, but I love J.J. McCarthy. I really do, from his days at Michigan. He's not getting it done, and he may not play. They may go with rookie Brosmer this week because of the late add to the concussion. I don't think you get out of the concussion protocol in 1 week. So Jefferson is averaging 11.7 PPR points per game with J.J. McCarthy, all right? Not getting it done. He's just not. Now, without McCarthy, he was averaging 16.3, and I don't think he was under 12 points in a single game without McCarthy, but that was with Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz isn't there anymore. He's season-ending injury. So with J.J. iffy and Brosmer rookie with just 8 pro passes going against Seattle, in Seattle, I'm sitting J.J. And I'm not talking about McCarthy. I'd be sitting him too, but I'm sitting Jefferson this week. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to my good friend, Pop.
Well, Greg, great to be back. Last week at this time, I was getting ready to hit a deer in a car on the way to Kansas City. So anything's an improvement. Went 2-3 last week. Got an injury to Alvin Kamara that cost me, because if you add Kamara and Neal's points together, which is what Kamara probably would have been close to without the injury, would have been maybe squeaking by. But I'm not taking any chances. I got the Lucky Cereal Bowl out this week, so getting ready to have a little bit of snap, crackle, pop.
Wait. This guy, you got to see what he is a showman. Not only did he bring out a snap, crackle, pop bowl, but he had pop turned towards the camera. Very good, Dennis. Very good.
I'm telling you, I got it on. But gonna get off with a good start here, taking advantage of injuries to find some great spot starters, because at quarterback, I'm actually surprised at how well this guy's been doing. In fact, he's been doing better than the starter before he got hurt. The Arizona Cardinals getting a lot of good work out of Jacoby Brissett lately. 6 solid games. He's actually quarterback 5 in total points since he took over for Kyler Murray. And Tampa Bay, 4th worst against quarterbacks. They'll get some sacks, they'll get some turnovers, but they'll also give up some points. So I like Jacoby Brissett this week at quarterback. At the running back, well, you heard it from our good friend Snap that there's a big injury over there in New Orleans, and they've already had a big injury prior to that. So they're down 2 of their starting running backs from their top 3 at the start of the season. So I like Devin Neal. He's going to get fed. Yes, Taysom Hill is going to get some work in the goal line. So that might take away a little bit of the upside. But Miami yielding 24 points per game to running backs. That's 10th worst in the league. And I kind of think with quarterback Tyler Shuck at the helm, that they're going to lean into that running game. Plus, Devin Neal, very good out of the backfield. And other than Olave and Juwan Johnson, there really isn't much. Maybe Devon Beal gets a little bit of work at wide receiver and does some good things. But Neal out of the backfield is pretty good as well. At the wide receiver position, well, a couple weeks ago, this guy told you to bench him. Since he told you to bench him, he's been wide receiver 5 in total points. And the Chicago defense, while they're getting much, much better in the recent weeks, still is 12th worst for the season, giving up 33.9 points per game to opposing wide receivers. A.J. Brown will double up 2 weeks in a row for me as a winning pick here on Pop. Tight end was a little bit lean this week, trying to find some good matchups. So I kind of playing a little bit of a backwards kind of reasoning on this one. Denver is yielding 12.9 points per game to tight ends. That's not a lot, and that's kind of middle of the pack. But that Denver defense, 3rd best against wide receivers and 5th best against running backs. So if the Washington Commanders want to get some yardage and want to get some points against the Denver Broncos this week, they're going to have to lean into old tight end Zach Ertz. And with Terry McLaurin expected to be back, I think that frees up the defense a little bit over the middle and gives Zach Ertz a chance to score a few points for you and kind of scrape into maybe that tight end 8 to tight end 12 finish this week. So don't look for big points from Ertz, but he might squeak you out double digits, and that's pretty good for a tight end on this slate this week. With because I got to pick guys outside the top 12, and that's kind of lean this week for us. I did kind of look at Gadsden with the Chargers, a little bit worried about his health and didn't like the matchup. So I'm going with Ertz instead. My bonus pick, yes, I know Isaiah Pacheco is back, but I'm going to take Kareem Hunt this week at running back. Dallas 9th for the whole season, giving up points to opposing running backs. Yes, they've gotten much tougher since they added a couple of defenders here and got a few guys back from injury. But still, I look at Kareem Hunt having a great chance to get into the end zone. 4 of his last 6 games, he has scored at least 1 touchdown. And I think Kansas City is going to be able to move the ball in the air against the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm hoping we have a couple of short yardage punch-in chances for Kareem Hunt. So he is my bonus pick for this week. Back to you, Greg.
Got to say, I love that last pick. He scored a touchdown in 4 straight games. I mean, that's solid right there.
He is hot. He is hot.
Yeah. Now, I do want to emphasize that we're getting towards the end of the year. I think that if you're into fantasy football, go over to fswa.org and sign up. Become a member of the Fantasy Sports Writers Association. Whether you write or not, if you're a fantasy fan, join, because then you can nominate different shows and different articles and different authors for both the Hall of Fame and for their awards. And they have awards in every sport. So whether it's just football or if you like basketball or baseball, get on over there, sign up so that you can do some nominating. Now, I'm personally going to nominate this show, and it wouldn't help if you guys like it if you went over and second that nomination, because I think these 2 guys that are over on my right as I'm looking at the screen that way, I think they deserve recognition because they're doing a great job this year and they're trying to help you win your leagues. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, and share us with your friends. That's it for this week. Remember, tomorrow night is our Thursday checkdown at 7 o'clock Eastern time. Join us then.